Greetings to all. Hi, this is John Lewis. I decided to do this video not with an audience because some of the things that I'm going to say in this video, it can be seen as maybe negative or concerning. And many times when I speak on things like this, I can feel the people, and so I can feel if someone is getting very tensed, and so therefore I'll get very tensed and not be able to deliver the message that I feel that I am supposed to be delivering. So I'm doing it this way, and that way you can listen to it at your leisure and you can enjoy it. You can share it. Please like and share this video and all of our videos with others. It is very good if you could do that. This video, I'm going to be dealing with astrology. I'm going to be dealing with prophecies and predictions for 2025 and beyond. We've already shared some revelations and prophetic things on December 30th that is on the YouTube there. But this is going to go a little bit further and a little bit more in depth, and I'll probably be making another one also. That's because the year 2025 is so full of astrology and so many things are happening. Now, Happy New Year to all of you that will be listening to this. It'll probably be the new year when you get this recording. But we already celebrated the New Year Tishri 1 based on the biblical calendar back last year in 5785. So this is the Gregorian calendar year 2025. And we just want to share some insight with you to some of the things that's going to be taking place over this year so that you can be aware of, so that you can choose, because we have this wonderful gift of choice. And the scripture says, choose you this day, whom you will serve. And so another scripture says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you that I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Choose life that you may live. So heaven and earth is recording events. Matter of fact, everything that is going to happen has already happened. And so what we do with astrology and what we do with prophecy and all of the sciences that deals with the paranormal of seeing, hearing, knowing what's going to take place, we are basically looking into the future, which has already happened, and declaring in the present now what will be happening. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but that's basically how it works. Now, some people call us prophets, oracles. Some people say seers. Some people say psychics. They say many things, describing the same type of administration or abilities. And I've been doing this since I was basically in my teenage years. Every year at the beginning of the year, I would just go into my prayer meditation mode, usually fasting. And I remember when the very first time I started to encounter angels, like on a major scale. I had seen angels before, but I remember I was in my bedroom and I was sitting on the floor and just rocking and praying about the nations of the world. And as I sat there, I think I must have been about maybe 18 years old praying. Angels began to appear to me, and they had the names of the country that they represented on their satchel. And they began to give me information of things that was going to be happening in their country. And I sat there and wrote it down and just went through so many countries. And sure enough, the things were made known and they materialized. They were in the news, throughout that year. And I had a newsletter I had just started, and I would send it out, and because I was so sure because of the encounters that I had. And since that time, every year I do a forecast of showing things. And with saying this, we not only do these things just to show you what is going to happen or what could happen, but also to encourage people to pray, to meditate, and to possibly lessen the impact of things that will be happening. Sometimes we can change things, but we're in such an accelerated time now where a lot of the major things will not be changed, but the impacts of them will be softened. That means, like, if I am seeing in a vision or sensing or maybe interpreting something that the heavens has said, regarding, say, maybe a natural disaster, and we can pray into that, we can meditate and speak into that, and maybe the event won't hurt as many people as it would normally, or maybe it won't be as much destruction as it could have been, because the prayer and meditation created a cushion. So we tell these things and reveal these things, not just only to show you what is happening, but so that you might also be aware and pray and cover areas around the world. Now, in this transmission today, I won't be going through nation by nation doing things, but I will mention some nations. I will be dealing a whole lot with this nation, United States of America. There's a scripture that says this, just for those of you that may be new to our channel and you may be from Christian background and you've been told that astrology is evil, is wrong, is of the devil. I want to tell you that that is error. And so, we are going to have to continue to change and understand, come to realize that Isaiah, the prophet, was an astrologer. Deborah was a master astrologer. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were all master astrologers serving in the king's court. Amos, various ones, they understood the science of astrology and they use it the way that it was designed to use to show us things that would be happening on the earth. And so the scripture says, the heavens declare, Psalms 19, the heavens do prophesy. It's the word Sephar, which means you can read it like a book. The heavens declare the glory of God. That word Sephar also means to number out. It means to put in a language of numerology. If you've been around our ministry or have checked out some of our videos, YouTube videos, you'll notice that I do gematria and numerology because the Bible is filled with numerology. And that is another form of prophecy. That's why you have the book of Numbers in your Bible. It wasn't just about a census, but it was something much deeper. Okay, so the heavens declare the glory of God. So the stars, the sun, the moon, the planets, they are speaking a language, and the language is light. It is the language of light. And people like me, and we can interpret the language of light and tell you what the light is saying. Okay, the heavens declare the glory of God. Basically, means that whatever the message is in the heavens, good, bad, or ugly, is going to all be good. The ultimate end of it, it will be good, even through the challenging times, because it is going to declare the glory of God, the excellency of God. You will see God through it. Okay. And the firmament is where what you can call the second heaven is. That's where the sun, the moon, and the stars, the whole zodiacal system is, the second heavens. And so the firmament shows forth his handiworks. I'm quoting to you from King James Version of Psalms 19. And that word handiworks means the operations of God, what he is doing, how he is operating. And he's put this language out there in the heavens. And the scripture says in Psalms 19 that there is no nation where this language is not broadcasted at. So wherever you go around the world, if a person understands the heavens and can read the language, we're all seeing the same letters, the same words, the same language out there and interpreting it. Okay, another scripture here in Daniel chapter 4 says this. I'm going to read this, I believe, from the Message Bible verse. It says, the angels announce this decree. The holy watchman brings this sentence so that everyone living will know that the high God rules human kingdoms. He arranges kingdom affairs however he wishes and makes leaders out of losers. Wow. Okay, so they're the watchers, the prophets, the seers, the astrologers, oracles. We are watchers. We are watching. Okay. Not only are we watching, but there are the heavenly watchers, the angels that bring messages to us, or the guides, as some people call them, that brings messages. They are also watchers. But I want to tell you that not only are the celestial or the angels watchers and humans watchers, but the constellations, the planets, they are also watchers, and they are declaring the messages of the Most High to us. King James Version says it this way, Daniel 4:17. This decision is by the decree of the watchers. Wow. And so that was a message to Daniel, but it was speaking of the watchers, of the angels that had already declared and decreed what was going to happen there in the kingdom of Babylon. But that decree was also confirmed by events that was taking place in the heavens, because you'll find later on Daniel is basically saying that, and he's revealing this, right? And the sentence by the word of the holy ones, okay? So we have the watchers, we have the holy ones, we have the heavens, all in agreement, speaking the same thing, in order that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. So the Most High rules in every government on the earth. I think it's around, I don't know how many countries are, over 200, I believe, that are on the planet here. And so the Most High rules in the kingdoms of men, gives it to whomever he will, and he sets over it the lowest of men. That's Daniel chapter 4:17. And so it is really amazing the way things happen in the world and those who come to power, and the choice that I mentioned earlier that God gives us humans. You choose what you want, and God says, I will allow it to be so. You may not like it, you may regret it, but in the ultimate end, all things will work together for the good. Okay. You know the story of Saul. The people desired a king to rule over them. God gave them that. In the ultimate end, everything eventually worked out. They had to go through some things, but it was necessary for the glory, the increase, the greatness of God to be seen. Now, this year is going to move very fast, very, very fast. And if you blink, you might miss something. That's how fast it's going to move. And time is going to seem so accelerated. And I'm going to tell you why astrologically. It's because the air signs or the wind signs that are controlled by the wind element. You have the four elements that controls and rule everything: earth, wind, water, and fire. And so in this year, you have the wind signs activated and you have the fire signs activated. Started with Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is a wind element sign. That was November the 19th. And so you have your air signs or wind signs, which are Aquarius, Gemini, and Aquarius and Gemini and Libra. Right. And so you have, for example, Pluto has moved into Aquarius. You have Jupiter, the largest planet out there, is going to be moving into Gemini. And then you have Uranus going to move into Gemini. So you have all this power in the wind signs. And the wind represents momentum, acceleration. It also represents spirit. Wow. And so despite all of the negative things that's going to be happening in the three-dimensional world, there's going to be such an increase of spirit, such an outflow, such a pouring out of spirit upon the earth as you have never seen before over the next several years. And it's going to be happening at the same time that all hell is breaking loose and that all of the horrible things like you've never seen before happen. That's why I said you get to choose which side you're going to be on. You get to choose what your reality is going to be. Is it going to be a life in the spirit where you're going to be moving forth, accelerating, evolving in consciousness and bringing into being all of the wonderful things in the earth that's going to lift you out from this 3D system into a 5-dimensional experience? Or will it be more of the same that will solidify you in the 3D construct and cause you to be weighed down and not able to ascend because of all of the negativity and all the garbage, all the carnage and mayhem and things that's going to be happening? Another thing, the fire signs, okay, which are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. There's a lot of activity in the fire signs this year. And for example, Saturn and Neptune are moving into Aries. Okay, that's the fire sign, the fire element, momentum there, fire. And then you also have Cancer, which is a water sign that is in Leo. So you have all of this activity in the wind and in the fire. Just looking at the spiritual side of it, those are the two elements of initiation. In all of the mystery schools, go way back to ancient Kemet, Egypt. You can go anywhere in the world, the Far East, even parts of Asia you see there, and not in Asia, but Europe is there. Throughout the whole world, there was always the two pillars, the Yakan and Boaz, which are the pillars of initiation, and they represent wind and fire. Wind and fire. So it's a year of just a lot of spiritual activity that will be happening, a lot of just evolution taking place, especially as we see Saturn conjunct and move into Aries with Neptune. Oh my God, that's visions and these prophetic abilities, psychic abilities, if you want to call it, that's going to be amplified within people. The dream state is going to become so real for many people they will not be able to tell if they're dreaming or if they're awake, and they will literally dream. We will literally dream while we are awake. What is that called? Vision. And when I mean what I'm talking about here, I've had this, and I have this from time to time. There are times where I'm in a meeting and I am maybe scanning the crowd or looking over, and I am seeing a picture. I am seeing like frames moving. I am seeing like a movie with my eyes open of the person's life or their past or something happening. It's like dreaming while you are awake. So there's going to be an increase of that. Because the heavens influence the earth and we're from the earth, and all of these elements are within us. So yes, we are affected by it, and the Most High has set it up that way. So it's going to be a year where everything is moving very fast because of the wind element and the fire, pushing you toward your initiations into deeper level of consciousness and spirituality, moving beyond religion and all of the dogma, all of the traditions of men, and really just having an encounter with the Most High and realizing who you are in Him. And as He is, so are we in this present world. But at the same time, you will have the wind of adversities and the fire of destruction that will come and as a purifying of that whole world, that whole system there, excuse me. This is also a year of revelation, a year of revelation. You know what? The things that they said were conspiracy theories, everybody's going to find out it was true. The governments will no longer deny them. They will be coming out one after the other, or making go before the media or releasing statements about, yes, the aliens, UFOs, and things I've been talking about for decades. It would be undeniable. Matter of fact, 25, 26, I've said for a few years now, this is the time where they will come. And well, they've been here, but they will make themselves known, where the shields and everything will be let down, and they will decloak themselves. They would decloak their ships that have been in our atmosphere for some time, and others are coming. Okay, so this is a very, very interesting time that we're in, and I'll be talking more about that in other transmissions. Okay, so it's a time where conspiracy theories will become fact about a lot of things. There's aliens, Antarctica, and so many other things, inner Earth, many, many other things. All of that is coming up to the forefront, and it's going to be so fast. It's going to be happening. And quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and all of this will be exposing the realities that for a long time that, Newtonian science and others have said it is bunk. It is not real. It can't exist. But they will have to change a lot of things that they've said, and the science books must be rewritten, and new curriculums must be made for the schools as well as the universities and colleges. So it's a very, very powerful time, and these things will be happening very, very fast. Okay, here. Okay, let's just go on here now. So we're at a time of a big planetary shift. Okay, Pluto is in Aquarius since November, and you see what is happening and the things that is happening. We're moving further into the age of Aquarius. And when I say the age of Aquarius, these are zodiacal ages that, it is not a new age term. It is not something of Eastern. It is a scientific term that every 2100 and about 30 years or so, that there is a precession of the equinox of the sun moving seemingly in a backward motion throughout the zodiac that is above your head, God's divine clock of 12 digits, 12 numbers, 12 signs that's above your head. And it equinoxes in a different sign house, as it did over 2,000 years ago in Pisces before Yeshua was born. And now it is equinoxing. It has equinoxed in Aquarius, letting us know that you're in a different age now. You're in the age of Aquarius. So you must let go of the Piscean mentality. The Piscean mentality is the religious mentality. For lack of better expression, it is the church age mentality. Using Christian terminology again, you must move from church age mentality to kingdom consciousness. That is what is happening. This is another reason why the COVID event happened and people were pushed out of their churches and at home, and basically forced to fellowship peer to peer on our devices. Okay, so we have that. We have Neptune that is moving into Aries. You have Uranus that's going to be moving into Gemini, Saturn into Aries, and Jupiter into Cancer. Okay, so that's a lot of energy with these major planets that are out there and these outer planets. We just had the Black Moon of December the 30th. We talked about that. That is on the YouTube channel. By the way, I need you to like this video now, and I need you to send it to about 3 other people. Okay, thank you for doing that. Now, I'm going to start to get into the astrology for this year. I should say deeper into the astrology for this year. I won't have a chance to put up charts for all of what I'm going to do because it's basically too much. And so I've been working on this for several days and decided, okay, nope, that is just going to be too much. All right, so January the 3rd, 2025. Okay, this year is starting off with Sun and Pluto conjunct. Now, if you're hearing this today, you saw what happened on New Year's Day here and in this country here, and there are other events happen around the world. For example, the what they say was a terrorist attack that took place in New Orleans, Louisiana, on Bourbon Street, where at least 15 people were killed, and some other things going on in different parts of the country. So this is the new norm. This will become the new norm where these things will be happening over the next several years here. And so when we get to January the 3rd, which is just a few days away, you're going to see that Sun and Pluto will be conjunct, very close in a tight conjunction there. And it's going to be in opposition to Mars. Okay, this is showing us that we are entering into a very violent year. I just told you about all the wonderful spiritual things that's going to be happening now. I'm going to tell you about things that will be happening in the 3D world that does not have to be your experience. So whenever I say something that may sound negative, you can just say, not for me. Okay, that is your declaration. That is your affirmation. So we've moved into a very violent year. And when I say a very violent year, this is not just on the national level, but you'll see this violence just spring up in homes around the country and around the world. Just a spirit of violence, and that will seem to erupt within people, and them not knowing why they are resorting to extreme violence to the point of murder and bloodshed. And people who are a little bit off balance mentally and maybe chemical imbalance in their brains and stuff, they are going to be greatly affected. They can be, I should say, greatly affected by the movements of the heavens because of the imbalance that is going on, that is already within them. And these movements will only bring to surface whatever is going on beneath the surface within their consciousness. This is why it's very important for you to stay in the shalom of God, a place of peace, meditation. Keep your vibratory frequency high. Using Christian terminology, stay in a state of praise and worship and adoration to God. And you won't be affected by these things, nor will the people that are functioning at those levels be able to affect you. Okay, so we're moving into a very violent year, and a lot of explosive events will happen. And when I say explosive, I do mean explosives. And since summer, I've been talking about this. We've had it on the website as well as in the YouTube channel, showing you some of the events that will be happening this year that are explosive, bomb blasts, and various things in this country. We know that it happens in many places, and we know about the war, but everything is about to accelerate between Russia, Ukraine. Things are going to accelerate in the Middle East with the war expanding there further into Syria, Lebanon, and just that whole area that they are seeking to engulf in war and become very explosive, and the heavens are showing that. And so this country here will not be exempt from these things that will be happening. And so there are going to be big surprises that's going to happen there, and that is seen in the heavens as you see this aspect that is there with Uranus. Okay, Uranus is showing us that things, that major surprises will be taking place in events and just out of the blue happening in this nation as well as other nations in the world. And so this year is starting with that war and aggression that will be spreading. Now, on the 11th, there's going to be a nodal shift. The north node and the south node, they are going to move from Aries and Libra, where they are now. When they moved into Aries and Libra, probably about 16 months or 18 months or so ago, or before then, I did a video on that and announcing and told everyone, I says, watch, we're about to move into a time of warfare. And I even specifically said, you're going to see things happen in the Middle East and in Israel and Palestine. And so it was months later that the event happened in Palestine that put the Palestinian people in the situation where they are, where tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, have been killed by the Israeli forces. And so it's just, but we announced that, and we announced the other wars that would be taking place because of that nodal shift. So now in January, January the 11th, there will be another nodal shift. These are the lunar nodes. The north node will be in, let's see, the north node will be in Pisces, and the south node will be in Virgo. Okay, north node, okay, in Pisces, which is a water sign. And then you're going to find the south one that is in Virgo here. So what is happening here? Okay, this is a shift in consciousness. It's a major, major event that is taking place that the heavens are telling us about. And see, Pisces controls the realm of religion, faith, and things like that, the dream world, all of that. But it also rules the world of deception, illusion, drugs, and those things too. And whereas Virgo rules the world of like health, our goals, and work, and even our pets. And so you're going to find some major things happen over the next, like, say, 18 months in the realm of religion, as it were. And in this country here, you're going to find, as well as in other countries, the leaders are going to take a strong stance against certain religious or spiritual people, and going to make war against them. And you might say, well, not in this country, here, not in America. You watch in the next 18 months, within that time, you will see things begin to change. And there will be more censorship. There will be more of clampdowns on things. And I'll get more into that in another maybe message or something. But at the same time, the heavens are telling us to watch out for our health, because I believe that the powers that be will be releasing some other type of virus, disease, or something. And I believe that there will be some type of an announcement that will be made known somewhere between the 11th and the 15th of January. Mark it on your calendars. Between the 11th and 15th of January, there will be some things in the news regarding a scare of some time of some type of disease, or some type of potential virus or pandemic rising up. Okay, and because you have this aspecting Mars, which is going to bring anxiety to a lot of people, and you will have this with the new moon. This is the new moon on the 13th. The new moon will be in Cancer, and it's going to be conjunct with Mars, and it's going to be trining Neptune in Pisces. So, oh my God. So that is showing us the media that's going to be involved there, but it's showing some deception, and it's showing some things that are not really the truth that's going to be spread forth, because you have the Neptune aspect of it there, which seeks to deceive and bring illusions and distort things, and then you have the Mars that is triggering this, bringing anxiety and fear. And this new moon is happening in Cancer. That means your house, your home, the things that's close to you, right? Okay. And so we have that whole scenario that is coming up around the middle of the month, and there will be some announcements made about this. Okay. Now, we get to the 20th of January. This is the day of inauguration. Now, I believe that you'll probably see you would probably see a chart there. And you can see on the chart that the Sun and Pluto will be conjunct at 0 degrees and to 1 degrees there, in Aquarius, with a Mars trigger in opposition at 24 degrees of Leo. Now that's crazy. That's on the day, that's at the exact time that the inauguration of President-elect Trump is to be inaugurated. That is not a good sign, okay? Because what the heavens are showing us is this, that number one, you have the sun. It represents, in this way that I'm seeing this, represents the leader of a country. Then you have the conjunct with Pluto, which is the god of death. Okay, there's two parts to Pluto. Pluto also does represent wealth and things. So we see this, but I want to just deal with this other side now, because yes, there will be some wealth generated for a season before the major crash in this country happens, and people will get excited, and they will be kind of taken off guard, and they will lose their sight of what is really happening, looking at what appears to be happening. I'm just telling you before time what will be. And so that's why I say things will be happening so fast. If you blink, you're going to miss something. But on the other side, you see the sun and Pluto that is going to be conjunct at 0 to 1 degrees there in Aquarius. And so this is speaking of President-elect Trump. And this is showing us that his life is going to be in danger. And this is a trigger there because you see that the opposition, Mars, which means weapons, warfare, aggression, and stuff. You see that is at 24 degrees in Leo's. A Leo, again, meaning the leader, okay, the ruler. So now this is not only for this country here, but especially for this country here, since it is happening at the exact time of the inauguration. But what the heavens are showing us that leaders and politicians, CEOs, celebrities, and I emphasize that, you are about to see in this year sudden death, removal of people. And a lot of this is going to come through bloodshed, weapons, and violence and things. Just people are going to be violently just removed and taken out, kind of like the healthcare CEO. All right. I'm just saying, because that's what the heavens are showing. And you have a lot of vigilante type people that's going to start to rise up. But this placement also gives the idea of burning down the seat of power. Burning down the seat of power, because you have the sun that close to Pluto, which makes it combust, or burning it down, right? And then you have it in Aquarius there, and you have the trigger with Mars, which is bringing in another element of violence by weapons or things of that sort. And so I am not saying that President-elect Trump will be killed or assassinated on the day of inauguration. I'm only telling you what the heavens are saying, and that you need to probably pray for your president. Some of you people out there, right? And so I'm interpreting that this is what is going to be happening. I'm going to show you the most vulnerable time for him. When I first started Rising Mystics, I did a message based on a chart I had cast for Trump. He was in power at the time. And I told the mystics, I said that I see that the heavens are saying there is going to be something. I thought that would probably be in his first, when he was president back then. I said something major will happen in the thoracic area. And I says, I see this arrow, and it was like basically through astrology as well as my intuition and vision. I says the heart in the thoracic area, that's where there's going to be a major health scare. So this came back to me again as I was looking at this chart here. And so there's two things that's going to be happening that's going to put him in danger. It's going to be a health scare, which may not be made known to the public right away, but it's going to be so. It's going to be there, and little rumors will come out. And there's also a chance of another assassination attempt, where I don't just see him crossing over yet or anything right away, but that's what the heavens are basically saying, and that is the tone of 2025 for the leadership of this country, and even into 2026. So now this Sun and Pluto conjunct at 0 to 1 degrees in Aquarius is also showing us that it is signifying upheaval, sudden changes, and a roller coaster economy for 2025. So you're going to see major highs and major lows. Everybody's going to be excited. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Wow, look at this economy. Look at what is happening. Then there's going to be drops. And then it's going to come back up. Whoops. And then it's going to be dropped. And you're going to see the same thing in the crypto space. And we'll talk more about that maybe a little bit later or in another video. Okay. And so now, January the 21st. Through the 25th, there's an event that's happening in the heavens where 6 planets will align. You're going to have Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all align. That is major. It's starting off this month. But on the, hang on the 28th, I'm going to skip to February, the 28th of February, there's going to be a grand alignment of 7 planets. 7 planets. Now, the scientists, astrophysicists say that this will not happen again for another 22 million years. So this is an event of the lifetime where Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Sun and Moon, and the North Node literally will all be in Pisces. Okay, so you have Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Sun, Moon in Pisces, and the North Node, which is not a planet, but it's there. And then you're going to have Venus, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars. They're going to all be lined up. You will see them in the sky, something that you have never seen before. A stellium is going to take place in Pisces, foreshadowing water events, because Pisces element is water. And when you have this much energy that is going to be compressed and compiled there, and they're going to be there for many of them will yet be there for a long time, conjunct for months. It is showing us to really prepare for water events to take place. Some of these water events are going to take place. I'm not laughing, but with people with leaks in their homes, with pipes bursting and things bursting, and you don't know why these are happening, leaks in the roofs and things that's been fixed before. But this is all showing you that the water is breaking. Spiritually speaking, if you understand what I'm saying, you're about to give birth to something very powerful, something very strong. The water is breaking. And so 2025 is a year of water events like you've never seen before. There's going to be just unprecedented snowfall that will cover houses in parts of the world. You will see it flashed on TV. And then when all of this snow and ice melts, it's going to create so much flooding, even in this country here. But this is globally water events that will take place. And I heard the Spirit say when I was putting this together the other day, and he says the waters of the oceans will come upon the land. I'm going, oh my God. And that's when he said that there will be tsunamis. And I'm saying with an S on the more than one that will come forth, within this year, tsunamis that will be taking place in various places. Okay, so we have that going on. I want you to watch and to be aware of that, the water events, especially if you live in an area where it's prone to flooding. And unfortunately, the Southeast is going to really just get hit again very hard, later on in this year with these floods and with the hurricanes and the storms and things that's going to be coming through the areas of Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, but especially Florida and the Carolinas, and up in that area there will be hit very hard with these things, as well as I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I saw the country of Brazil being hit very hard. It would seem like multiple major water events. It's like, I don't know anything if they have dams or whatever, but I saw something breaking, and I saw water just flowing and just seemingly like wiping out villages of people. So we want to be praying and holding these things in prayer, as well as the Southeast and America, as well as Asia and stuff, where things will be happening. But this is going to be all over the world, where these water events that will be happening. So, and things that's going to be taking place. So let me just get back here. So we have these planets coming into alignment, and I might be doing a reading on the planets, the seven. I had planned to, but depends on if I have time to do that. So that is on the 21st. You have the sixth come into alignment. Then February the 11th, you're going to have the sun that's going to be 23 degrees conjunct with Pluto. Okay, at 25 degrees in Aquarius, and it's going to be squaring Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. Okay, this is an explosive time again. Okay, this is a time, I would say, like somewhere between February the 9th and 13th, but 11th being the peak date of this activity, where some things will be happening. You know, there will be people blowing up stuff, or the war will increase, or bombs going off, or things happening. And you'll also see some changes in the markets around that time, the financial markets around that time. So it's going to be sudden changes. Things just like happen. I don't know what will literally happen on the planet to create some of this, but I do know that some of this will be terror and war attacks that will be happening. Okay, and then let's go to, excuse me. Okay, Mars will be in Cancer, and which is a water sign, and so I believe I was saying this last week on Monday that during this time, I would say maybe in May, especially around May, the third week or so of May, that's going to be a peak point. But March and April and October, March, April, October, those are also peak times for major water events, for tsunamis and things, and things happening in the sea. What I saw was like it was going to be a vulnerable time for like war. See, it was as if someone will shoot a missile or drop a bomb on a ship and maybe a submarine. Also, there's going to be more than one event happening. It's going to be crazy. And but you're going to see these events happening at sea. You're going to see large boats like ships capsizing. It is also a time where there'll probably be disruption of the shipping lanes. Okay, this is beyond what is happening over by the Red Sea, but this is in other parts of the world. There's going to be just this. Just disturbance. See, that's the only word that I can feel and see that's going to be coming forth. And so March, April, and October are peak times for that. But regarding this, that's going to be happening in May, I feel that there's going to be some type of warfare. I believe that maybe China could be making some moves also against Taiwan around that time. I feel that also that it'll be a time where even in this country here, that some things could be happening. Not just people setting off IEDs, but as I said, I think a few months ago in one of our classes, I saw missiles coming into this country. This is not from people inside the country, but outside of the country. So we need to be prepared and need to just think about this and pray about it and just say, not for me. Just believe that you will not be affected by this. So a lot of that energy is building up for around May, okay, and around the third week of May, and that. Okay, so we're also coming into eclipse season in March 13, 14, depending on where you live. There's going to be a blood moon total lunar eclipse. The sun and the moon. It's going to be the sun in Pisces, and the moon is going to be in Virgo. Time is going to be about 8:57 Pacific Standard Time. Okay, that is March 13, 14, March 13. And it's going to be a total lunar eclipse. It's a blood moon eclipse. The moon will literally turn red. And again, you have this energy happening in Pisces, which is a water sign. again. And so again, emphasizing on the rains and the floods and the various things that will be happening at sea, around water situations, things. Okay. And on the 29th of March, there will be a total solar eclipse. So we're coming into this eclipse season at 8:08 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sun will have moved to Aries. Okay. And so that is warfare. That is showing us that this is where we're headed, as in this nation, as well as many nations around the world. Okay, that's what is happening. But you can say, not for me. We're going to only conduct spiritual warfare. That's the kind of warfare that we're going to be involved in. Okay, March the 30th, there is Neptune is going to move into Aries. Now that's big. So we have a lot of things that's going to be happening after that. We're going to move into a different phase there. And so we have Neptune, as I said, which represents the realm of religion, faith, and things like that, spirituality, vision, and all of that. And then you have it transit into Aries, which is going to fight against people of faith. So there's going to be a spirit, if you will, that's going to rise up in this country, as well as around the world, and from the mouths of a lot of from people that a lot of folks in this country are going to be surprised. Okay, and so they will begin to attack belief systems, and especially those who are, outside of the box. All right. Now, big turning point I wrote down because that's what I felt. Major challenges in April through May. See, this movement of Neptune transited into Aries at the end of March is setting things up. Matter of fact, all of the events that I just told you, the movements from January 3 are preparing us for the major changes and challenges that's coming up in April and May and beyond. So, number one, there is a spirit of chaos and lawlessness. That's the only way I can describe it, that has been released in this country that will be affecting the whole world. And it's already starting. Now you see what is happening. And so people don't realize sometimes that leaders that are elected, we all have this energy or this spirit, right? And whatever spirit that we are functioning in, it can be transmitted, into the nation, especially if you're a leader, world leader, it would be translated into the world scene. And so there's a spirit of chaos and lawlessness that's going to be manifesting globally, and it's going to be really crazy. And I see people just scratching their head and sitting in front of their TVs with their mouths open, just, I can't believe this, that type of thing, scenario I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing that there is going to be a major shakeup in Trump's cabinet administration, some changes, big changes that he's going to make. Some people that are in positions now will not be in positions come April and May, because some major changes will take place. And I think what may be even more shocking is some of the people that's going to replace them. So expect this between April and May, some major changes in the Trump administrations. Also, it's not going to be a very good time for Trump because of that Sun Pluto that is conjunct there on the inauguration date, and that is being triggered by Mars. That trigger effect is going to move into this space, into the April time, where his life will be in danger, where there could most likely be some type of assassination attempt or something against his life. And those of you that have followed our ministry know that 2 weeks before the assassination attempt that happened to Trump. I announced it and I posted it on the YouTube channel and told people, you better pray for your president because his life is in danger. And I even gave the date, the time frame where it would happen. So now I'm telling you again that especially around April, that is the kind of like the peak of that energy where his life will be in danger again. And this is not only through maybe some health scare, but also some type of violence. Also, between April and May, there is a high possibility of some major earthquake activity in this country here. We had spoken about the earthquake that would take place in California. That happened 7 point off the coast of Northern California. Spoke about the earthquakes that would take place along the New Madrid fault line. Those began to happen. Those were minor ones, and they're still happening just a few days ago. And so I believe that there's going to be an increase of that, and that the New Madrid fault line will see earthquakes above 6 on the Richter scale. And so we want to just be praying about that and just keep that in mind. Okay, now there's going to also be, let's see, in April and May, most of the planets will begin to conjunct. Okay, they will begin to conjunct. So there's going to be an emphasis on healthcare and pharmaceutical things because they're going to be announcing some big changes. Okay, this is where some of the announcements are going to come out of these big changes that's going to be taking place, and this is partially a result of the nodal changes with the South Node that will be in the sixth house, Virgo there, which represent health and things like that, but is also showing us to be aware of things. And so April and May, as I say, is a big turning point and major challenges also. Some get things, but some major challenges. I'm going to say this, and so I'm going out on a limb. There's going to be some type of, I believe, a bomb or explosion, and I feel it's going to be in the northeast coast, somewhere around New York, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, somewhere around that area there is, I was picking up that. And so we want to be praying about that. And that is most likely will be happening between April and May. And I'll say it this way. That's when they are planning for it. And because those of you that have followed our ministry know that sometimes I can tell you, I can see where people are planning things and we pray about things and the plan is foiled. Okay, it is uncovered. And then they go back and it comes out in the news. They have been preparing for this since this time, or this date. And so, and it lines right up. So I'm telling you that there is a plan that is in place, that's being put together. And so we can be praying about that. And so that's around the April-May period. Okay. And that's on the East Coast. Now, June, July, and August, Saturn and let's see, I believe Saturn, and Neptune is going to be conjunct in Aries. Okay, and Mars is going to yet be the trigger there. It's just amazing, just what is happening with the astrology this year, and so Mars is representing fires, and in this respect here, we're seeing not only just threats of violence, but we're seeing firestorms, and we're seeing like a lot of things burning, like in this country as well as in other countries around the world. This is going to also trigger just extreme heat, solar cycle 25 on steroids with solar flares that will be affecting communications and other things on the planet that I'm just seeing this now, where they're going to just begin to discover or begin to say that this is a result of the solar flares that are happening. So there's going to be a major uptick in these solar flares, and there's most likely going to be some type of major earthquake in Southeast Asia. I'm looking at, seems like close to Indonesia area there. and there's going to be June, July, August, a lot of storms. Again, as I said earlier, we're watching Brazil because I could see things happening there, and I can see tsunamis coming, and we see that all of this is being triggered by these Mars that is triggering things in the fire and water signs. Okay, fire and water signs. Okay. July 7th through November, we're going to go into November now and just wrap this up. July 7th through November, Uranus, I believe it's November 7th, but don't quote me on that, but sometime in November, Uranus will transit into Jupiter. So that means Uranus, which is in the house of Taurus right now, the house of finances and stuff, is going to move out of the house of finance and move into Gemini. And so what I see that means is basically that this is money that's going to be moving for one thing, and it's showing the volatility that's going to be there because it's going to move into this air sign. But another thing this is also showing us is that Gemini is representing the digital world, the crypto world, and things of that sort. And we find that Uranus moving there is basically showing us to prepare for that. And I believe, as I said the other night in our class, that the crypto market, for example, Bitcoin and things like that, it's gonna come back again. It's gonna rise up again. And right now, I believe it is. People are a little bit afraid because it went down to, I believe, 92K or so. I haven't seen it over the past day, but they have. But it's going to rise again, and especially as we get closer to the election time, and this is going to go on all the way till about, like, I would say toward the end of February maybe, and then it's going to seem to maybe dip again. The markets are, and then up around March, around the spring equinox, there should be an upward turn again for that, and then a leveling off again around May, and then there could be some type of just drop, but it will be back. Okay, but just keep that in mind. And I'm not a financial advisor or anything. I'm just reading the heavens the way I see it and the way I feel that things are going to be moving. So back to this Uranus is going to be transiting Gemini. Speaking of a lot of things there, I'm just dealing specifically at that point with the financial world. But, you know, the last time that Uranus transited Gemini and stayed there for a while was in 1941 through 1945. What was that? World War II. And then the time before that, when Uranus transited Gemini, it was 1860 through 1865. What was that? The Civil War. The time before that, when Uranus transited Gemini, was 1774 through 1782. What was that? The Revolutionary War. So what am I saying? There's nothing new under the sun. That's what the great man King Solomon said, which also understood the sciences of the heavens. And we can understand the sciences of the heavens because we know that the Most High created them to tell a story, and we understand their light language, and they repeat the light language by moving into specific positions, showing us that what was is going to happen again. And so just as we've been talking about wars and things like that, the heavens again is showing us that between July and November, some things will be happening in the world, on the world scene, but also in this country that could lead to civil war, that could lead to a lot of civil unrest, that could lead to martial law, and could lead to curfews and a lot of things happening, and could lead to things happening as these wars were not only like just civil war, but these were foreign wars. And so, as I said earlier, I see wars from within and from without coming to the United States of America. I see people from within, but I see also missiles and bombs coming from other nations into this country. And so we're just being prepared for this because things are going to be moving fast. So war will be breaking out in many parts of the world, and especially around that time. So if you watch, if you are a watcher, as I am, you will see these things happening. Matter of fact, it's going to get dire for Europe and the European nations because they're going to be threatened by Russia's advancements and aggression. Okay, especially around that time. And it's going to become very unsettling for many of the European nations. The social unrest is going to begin to take off in various countries, France, Switzerland, Germany, all over there. And as I've told you for since 2023, I believe it was, that Macron, I think he's going to be forced out. He will be forced to resign, and that will probably be happening very soon, very soon. And so there's going to be social arrest. There's going to be a breaking down of the governments and of the peoples. There is really, and as I was looking at this in the spirit and just hearing the things that was going on, it was really just disturbing. Okay, and because there's going to be a lot of leaders that's going to be changed. Some will be resigned and removed in various ways, and especially during this time frame, okay, where a lot of this will just kind of like come to the surface. You're going to also see the NATO nations, the alliance that they've had and stuff, that's going to somehow be falling apart, possibly having to do with some of the things that Trump is doing and with tariffs and other things. But there's things going to begin to fall apart. And they're going to be reconsidering. They're going to be considering a new type of alliance that's going to be formed over there. Their economy is going to be teetering as the leaders scramble to hang on to power and to pull their nations together. The euro is going to drop, and it's going to be really a crazy thing, chaos. That is the word that I'm seeing and hearing that's going to be taking place in many European nations. And on top of that, with the threat of war and with other things that's going to be happening that where missiles may be fired, I feel, on the continent, besides what is going on in Ukraine and stuff. There's going to be something happening, and I don't understand it. And it's probably, and it's going to be some type of autoimmune disease. It's going to be some type of, they may call it a pandemic, because a lot of people are going to be getting this, and it's going to really attack the autoimmune system. And I'm not a doctor. I don't know the language. I just know what I'm sensing and hearing. And so that's something to be praying about, but it's going to really affect a lot of the Western nations. And so it's going to be displacement. I just saw displacement of tens of millions of people worldwide. That's going to be happening this year due to the wars, the famine, the disease, and the natural disasters. Okay. And the April 2025 trigger is going to trigger that. That's why I said when we get to, there is a big turning point just after Neptune transits into Aries. Things are going to really just seem to accelerate, and people will be displaced worldwide through wars, famine, disease, and natural disaster. And this is going to go on until at least 2027. All right. So there's coming a big change in the sports industries. I don't know what all that entails, but you will see it this year. And I know that because of what I can see is happening with Mars in Leo. Leo represents the entertainment. Okay. And at the, that I told you earlier, that let me just pull up my chart here for a minute and just take a look at it here. Okay. Okay. On the day of the inauguration. Okay, yeah. Okay. Give me 1 second. Just looking at this chart here. Actually, whoops. Here we go. Give me 1 second and look at this chart here. see what I saw. Okay, actually, yeah. That was the basically the January 1 chart. I believe the January 3 chart that I was looking at. Okay. And so Mars in Leo. Leo represents entertainment. And then I see that it is in opposition with Pluto there, and as the sun comes closer there, and so I'm seeing just major changes in the entertainment industries, and just it seems like people, uh, a lot of leaders, I don't want to say just gonna just die, but they're gonna just uh, they're gonna be removed. I should say things gonna be happening with a lot of big name athletes and stars, as well as celebrities. There's a big just change is gonna happen in both of those industries this year, and I'll maybe talk more about that another time. Okay, so let me finish out this year. Okay, back to the emphasis on digital currency that is coming up with the movements of the heavens when Uranus moves into Gemini. Okay, and so you need to be prepared for that because they are preparing you for the big change because the dollar is being phased out. And so their plans are that by spring of 2026, that everybody, or I would say most of the people in this country and in the Western world, will be acclimated to the digital currencies that they will be introducing. And because around that time, that's when the dollar dies. I mean, when I say dies, I don't mean that it's not going to be used again, but it's going to become less relevant than it was before the paper money. Then we have on the 9th of September, there's a lunar eclipse, yet into eclipse season, and that lunar eclipse is in Aries, okay? And the sun will be in Virgo. And then on the 24th, there is a partial solar eclipse, okay, with the sun, moon in Virgo, all right? So I think I'm going to stop there. I've shared probably more than what I wanted to share. And so just realize, as I said earlier, that the watchers, we are the watchers, and we're only declaring what we hear and what we see, and that the Most High rules in the kingdoms of men. And there's a great work that is happening. This is the year of revelation of many things. And so we want to make sure that we make the right choices and that we be aware, be woke, because things are going to be happening very fast if you sleep. God bless you and your family and all that you are concerned about in this wonderful year 2025. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, go in peace.